Hello. As it's October, I thought I'd tell you a real-life ghost story. I say real, but of course take that with a pinch of salt. Also, if this is something people enjoy, I plan to do more things like this now and then, ideally with submitted stories too. Now, personally, I don't believe in ghosts. At all. I'm an atheist, a huge skeptic, probably one of the most skeptical people you'd ever meet. I don't believe that any ghost stories are actually about ghosts. I think they can be explained in some way, perhaps a dream, hallucination, or oftentimes just made up story or hoax. However, that being said, I've seen ghosts before. Several times. I get that must sound odd after the opening, but like I say, I feel they have logical explanations. But, although I believe these apparitions were just in my head, that doesn't make them any less unsettling, doesn't make the experience any less frightening at the time. Even the most logical person can feel that sense of dread in the pit of their stomach. So, here's a ghost story that happened to me. We go back in time to when I was in university. In the second year, I moved into a house share with friends met at the university. The main area for student house shares for my uni was around streets full of terraced Victorian-aged housing, tightly packed in with roads originally designed for just the occasional horse and carriage, very thin but quite long houses. This one was a little back to front in that the kitchen was upstairs along with the living room and communal bathroom as well as one bedroom, and the bottom floor had been converted into 3 bedrooms. I was in one of the bedrooms at the bottom of the house. Due to the nature of these house shares, just basically for students, the house wasn't exactly done up to a nice new contemporary finish with modern fittings, nice bright energy efficient lights. It had old plastered walls and ceilings, drafts and smells with long hallways poorly lit with the occasional old style bulb. From the moment I first moved in, it felt slightly off. It was a spooky house, the kind you'd see in a horror movie for sure. I believe places can definitely feel spooky, not because they're actually haunted, in my opinion, but they can definitely make you feel unsettled for a variety of reasons such as age, design, lighting and whatnot. Now there were a lot of fun memories made there, drinking, gaming and of course some studying, but when the place was dark, there's no denying it could give even the most ardent skeptic a sense that something wasn't right, maybe someone was watching you. After a few months, one night when going upstairs to the kitchen to get a glass of water, after waking up in the middle of the night, which I often do, I experienced something that made it difficult to get back to sleep. I was in the kitchen, with no other lights on, so not to wake anyone, having a drink whilst looking out of the kitchen door down the long, dark hall which led to the living room with big windows facing the street, so only had the faintest bit of lighting from the street lamps outside. I saw an old lady. I froze, did a double take, and saw an old woman in white walk to the stairs and out of view. I was freaked out to say the least. Seeing the occasional girl around was not out of the ordinary. It was a house share of 4 guys and we of course had guests now and then, but never a creepy old woman. No offence to creepy old women out there looking for some fun. Anyway, I went to the door of the kitchen, somewhat sheepishly, looked to the right where the stairs were, and no one was there. No sound, no one walking down them. So I went down them, and no one was there. No one was anywhere, no doors opened, just nothing. I went back to bed and just thought I must have imagined it. I mean, it was a creepy place, it was late, I was bleary-eyed, and I already know that there's a well-documented common phenomenon of women in white, because for some reason humans often see that as a ghostly apparition. I'm into psychology, magic, creepy stuff, so I've long been aware of that at this point. Still, I didn't think it would actually happen to me, especially considering I knew of the phenomena. I didn't say anything to anyone else at the time, because I just thought, I'm tired, been partying and or studying a lot, I obviously just hallucinated. I did experience other strange things too, though these were things that can all be explained away of an old house, like creaking floorboards being set in one position and then releasing back to how they were sometime later, making footstep sounds when no one's there. But the thing that really got me was a conversation I had with a housemate a week later. I went up to the kitchen around 11 PM and he was there washing some stuff up. He looked a bit stressed. I just casually said, "Alright?" And he replied, "Yeah." I could tell he wasn't. "What's up?" I asked. He looked at me and said, "Do you believe in ghosts?" To which I quickly replied, "No, why?" He looked away, knowing already before even asking that I didn't, and just mumbled, "Don't worry." I was very inquisitive now, so I probed more and said something along the lines of, "Oh, go on, what's up?" "Have you seen anything weird or anything lately?" he asked. I tried to hide it, but I think he kind of noticed my face drop at that question. I just said, "Like what?" He went on to make sure I wouldn't laugh and just came out with it, and I'll never forget the feeling this gave me for the rest of my life. He said, "I keep seeing this old lady around in the house, and I just saw her down the hall a second ago, and it's fucking freaking me out." Keep in mind I hadn't told anyone about what I saw, not a single soul, and he genuinely looked shit scared at this point. I did what I thought was best and simply said, "You're probably just tired, it's a creepy house, don't worry about it," without ever actually confirming I had seen her too, because honestly if that came from me, he'd have been convinced we were haunted and that would not be a good thing for his mental health whilst trying to meet uni deadlines. He nodded and snapped out of it a bit, as he was quite logical and usually sceptical person too, but I'm not sure he fully believed me due to the look on my face earlier, and that was the end of the conversation. Now, I don't think this was a ghost. I genuinely believe, because humans have very similar brains and experience very similar things, that the old house, our lifestyles at the time, and the well-known phenomenon of a lady in white made us literally just hallucinate the same thing. But that in itself is still incredibly strange, and that's simply the best case scenario. I can understand why a less skeptical person could fully believe the house was haunted, and maybe, in its own way, that house was indeed haunted. Not by the supernatural, but merely by its design. I hope you enjoyed that story, which really did happen. If you have any real stories you'd like to submit, please feel free, but do so knowing I may try to debunk them. But that's not to say that I think you're lying, just that the human mind is a powerful thing and at times, scary. Well, I hope you all have pleasant dreams tonight. Bye.
Guys, if you're still here, you're awesome! But as you are still here, why not check out some of my other videos? Oh, and if you haven't already, please click subscribe. Laters, haters.